like drama because there was another platform that claimed that we were DDoSing them, and so immediately, I think we like almost all of our co-founders and me like hopped on a Twitter Space yesterday at like 10 p.m. and we finished it around 11:30 at night, and it just shows that like we've never been afraid of kind of confronting the community, even if we get flooded to death, right? We will just do it anyway because we want to make sure that we're in the conversation. Yeah.
Well, that same goes back to Alan Carroll's purpose to be the meme king is like, you know, he does put stuff out there and it's all in the context of being funny. And a lot of that is maybe poking fun at yourself. And that's all right. You know, if you got the thick skinned or the sappy skin to put up with it. And I think that was Alan's way of thanking you guys for, you know, giving him banter, letting him give you banter, but in a fun, humorous way that creates engagement. That's not harmful. And that's all part of, you know, of it. And then also to be able there to go out on the network and the airwaves and deliver your message. So if there is some interference with a message or maybe from another group, that you can go out there and set the idea and the waves right. So it is an open line of discussion and communication. That's what we're trying to achieve with these discussions here on these Web Wednesdays, is to have that open alliance. Go ahead, go for it, Tiffany.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, yeah, I think that's great. I also see some people here who were there in the space yesterday. So, yeah, I see Wizard, hi Wizard, who actually asked us some, you know, pretty good questions as well. So, yeah.
And how about Tiff, do you have any questions for us? You know, we can maybe do the role reversal. Go for it.
Yeah. Let's like make this a two-way conversation. I didn't actually like have the intention of shilling Magic Eden so hard, but yeah, like tell me a little bit more about Vayner 3 and what you guys are trying to accomplish and what kind of projects you guys are working with now.
Well, my main goal is to educate and onboard as many people as we can. And with that is kind of deciphering what's out there, breaking down the different components and the cool things that are in the space, and giving it to our pod leads who bring it to the different brands. Some of them we can't talk about. A lot of them are public, and we're just trying to give them the most up-to-date, coolest things they can have. So then they can take this, you know, maybe playbook to the Web3 world that we're trying to develop here at at Vayner 3, and see what works, see what doesn't work for their particular clients. And their clients are a lot of times individuals who just love the brands and they've been part of the brands, you know, their whole lives. So, you know, maybe transforming them into the Web 2 world, into the Web 3 world, but onboarding, getting as many people involved as possible, and engagement, whatever that engagement may be. It could be having conversations on Spaces. It could be, you know, dropping free Clydesdales through, you know, Zed Horse run to help prior Budweiser heritage holders. So there's multi facets to it, but education and onboarding is key in my mind.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, okay, you guys work with Web 2 brands and try to transition them into Web 3. But as far as I know, and in our experience working with Web 2 clients, it's just really, really hard. And I would still say you're more likely to convert, like let's say like a Web 2 client does a launch. You're still more likely to convert like existing crypto native people into that mint than to convert like the Web 2 brand's audience into that mint and project, which is like a fundamental problem, right? Or it's a really big challenge of like how exactly can you bring more people into the space if it's the same liquidity over and over again? Have you guys found any interesting ways of actually converting or acquiring like new users through the work you do?
Innovation, you know, like we had great success with our Super Bowl ads of just simply finding a community, like taking the Nouns glasses and tossing them on a Bud Light can. Simply having a QR code, very similar to the one seen in the show The Office, and have it bounce around the screen, linking it into to Coinbase. I mean, I think that crushed Coinbase's server because so many people tried to access that QR code at the same time. So finding innovative ways to have people get that first step. If it's clicking a button, if it's claiming a POAP, if it's watching an informational video of how to create a MetaMask wallet, any of those capacities, because essentially you're getting market shares of new people entering in those space. And those new people generally is demographics are the demographics that these brands are looking for, is the smart, like-minded individuals that are tech savvy. Age doesn't really have a difference. Gender doesn't have a difference. Doesn't matter if you're an alien, ape, or zombie. They're just looking for cool people.
Wait, can you explain how exactly? So there was a Super Bowl ad, and then there was a QR code, and there was something about the office. Wait, what exactly?
All right, so we had, and fill in AC whenever you want. We had a QR code that bounced around the screen, and it didn't say anything. And the Super Bowl ad was for Coinbase, and that QR code bouncing around the screen is very similar to a screensaver. And that screensaver was used in the show The Office, where like the little thing bouncing around the scene will never,
like DVD,
yes, like, will never touch, will never touch the corner. So then people are drawn to that through their attraction of having that screensaver growing up, whatever, probably years back now. I don't even know if they use screensavers. The allure to The Office, and then to, hey, what's this? All I have to really do is pick up my finger, use my thumb to click picture, and see what this QR code is all about. So it's fun stuff like that from cool people we get to work with that pull up those quick-witted things that drove engagement through the ceiling.
Okay, so then if you scan that QR code, then where would it go?
That took you to Coin. I think it was Coinbase.com at the time.
To set up a wallet.
You got it. So onboarding people. So, those are the types of things that we explore. We use. I mean, we're part of it a lot. The very people that are tucked in Vayner 3 are the same people that are using these things in real life. Like, Tiff, you saw me at I'm Not Art Space. I had no idea Spotty Wi-Fi was going to be there. I had no idea you guys are going to be there. And next thing you know, you get a live performance from a CryptoPunk rapper, the one and only CryptoPunk rapper, the first CryptoPunk rapper. And then right after that, you guys are talking your 1-year anniversary, which I had no idea about, and that you guys are entering into a whole different chain, and that was like alpha information at an IRL event that I was just pretty much showing up there to get out of my house, to be in Chicago, which, I've been in plenty of times, and hang out with my friends that I've hung out with before. So it is being part of that community, and you can't spell community without unity. And that unity comes from having conversations, talking about it, you getting up there and getting on, the historic alley backdrop of Chicago, hopping up on a deck party and just talking about what's new in the world. And you had, I think there's 200-300 people there. I think it maxed out at 300 people. They closed the door, and, able to spit your game right next to Spotty Wi-Fi, right next to all the people that hosted it that that is at I'm Not Art Space. I mean, there was CEO of Wisher Vodka there that's in the metaverse. There was rubbing elbows with Maskey, and just talking about it, very similar to, I'm sure Six would have showed up if he was in the Chicagoland area, or Hizzy or Dripball or anyone listening underneath, because this NFT space is getting into IRL events. It is getting into the metaverse, and it is getting wider as it's getting cross-chain as we're seeing today. So make sure you're checking out on the top pinned tweets above, as we do have information about these spaces. Right there, we have one with Johnny Walker and the AI collaboration that we did with our spaces. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, cool. No, thanks. Yeah, it was really nice meeting you too, and I really enjoyed the IRL event too. In the case of Johnny Walker, like, how are you guys managing to get Johnny Walker fans into Web3? Like, requiring people to set up a wallet is so laborious, and getting them to put, crypto into that wallet and then to go to a mint site. I just think these are flows that are really, like, generally difficult for a new person to get in. Like, Do you have any idea how Johnny Walker is kind of approaching their project? Sorry, not to put you on the spot. I'm just genuinely curious.
To answer really quickly, I wanted to answer your previous question a little bit. I think that onboarding people from Web 2 to Web 3, one of the biggest, obviously activations are super important. IRL activations, definitely, like proof of attendance protocol, POAPs. And I think that incentives, like with Johnny Walker, if I'm a Johnny Walker fan already, and I see that I get this extremely, and a collector and like a whiskey, like I'm a whiskey head, and I get this really dope bottle, but the only way that I can get it is to be onboarded into Web3. I'll take a couple of steps to get this like one of one, or, you know, 1 out of 50, or, you know, just this really exclusive bottle that no one else is gonna have. I think in the world of Web3 music, it's incentive for like, okay, if I get one NFT sold versus 60,000 streams on Spotify, I'll take a little bit of time to learn and join a community and kind of learn how to create a wallet. But that's just from my perspective. I don't know if anyone has any other.
Yeah. Not to. Oh, go ahead, AC.
But yeah, definitely. Like, so I definitely kind of nailed it. Like, this recent drop was really interesting that, you know, Johnny Walker did, because it was from, you know, distillery that was closed long ago, and, you know, it was what we call a ghost distillery. So the storytelling aspect was really interesting. And there's this bottle that just, you know, you can't make any more of it, so it's rapidly going down to the last drop. So, you know, if you have one of these and say that, you might be one of the only people in the world to have one of these bottles. So it was a really, really interesting approach, which is why I also sold out in like 12 seconds or something. So, yeah.
Damn. Congrats, guys.
Mixed in, it was the first, and I'm going to get this wrong, so hammer me if you want. It was the first female, I don't want to say master distiller, master brewer, but it was the first one female that actually made, I don't know if it's the blend. There again, my ignorance to actually distilling anything. But there's a lot of firsts. And I would say is what our team did internally is one, we took what Johnny Walker wanted to do for their direct fans, you know, premium, luxurious, almost one-ofs, and just cater to the needs of what they knew was successful from their fans. So we learned from them what their fans wanted, and then we gave them explorations of how we can mix that. You know, do we want to do a generative AI piece? Do we want to do, you know, pixelated piece, this and that? And then we can format based upon their brand playbook mixed in with our brand playbook, what works best. And then also we have to look at it from a standpoint as who is enterprise ready to do these type of collaborations as well. So there's a lot of moving parts, and it takes a lot of people to do it. But at the end of the day is getting the product that your fans want at the end of the day. So, you know, the product that I'm hoping to establish here is there again, further education of maybe how to onboard someone, you know, getting it to the fans. If you have 5 or 10 hardcore fans that are going to spread the word, maybe direct your mission towards those fans, because maybe they're going to be able to amplify what you're trying to announce. Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead.
I'm all good. Go for it.
I mean, I was going to say, like, I think the IRL component provides this level of, like, tangibility that, like, normies need in order to buy something. Like, I think that's a really clear example of utility that just everyday people can understand. How do you guys manage the flow? Because I saw that it was through BlockBar. So I know this space is supposed to be about Solana NFTs. Now we're just talking about Johnny Walker. But I'm curious, like, how did you guys actually, or how does BlockBar actually ship the physical product? Or what's the experience? Like, you mint an NFT and then you go to a claim page, or like, how are you actually putting in your details?
The specifics on that is pretty much what BlockBar has honed in on as their main focus, is how to distribute beverages, liquids towards people throughout this space. And that's what was our gravitation towards it. And, you know, a point of information gathering of how that would work and how that does link in. You know, there's always that component of where do you ship it? I mean, obviously in this decentralized space, people want to have everything anonymous at times, but there needs to be that bridge in the gap of sometimes you need to put an address there if you want something shipped to you, to get that IRL component. So those were things that we did our due diligence on, things that were battle tested prior to coming, to see how many units they have shipped out to other people for other brands, and then mixing in this Web3 connectivity in there. Soleil, hand up, go for it.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that each coin was a soulbound token, and then if you wanted to actually claim it, you'd have to burn it and put your information on to BlockBar's website.
Gotcha. No,
So
I guess a lot of my curiosity is driven from like how to onboard the next, class of or categories of creators. I think Magic Eden and all these like marketplaces that have launch pads generally do a good job of targeting kind of crypto native launches. But I think there are like many different segments of creators. There's like the Web2 brand, and then, their priorities are like, they don't really care about how much money they can make necessarily, but they care about doing things right and looking like maintaining their brand reputation and like having some kind of KPIs. I can relate to that. And then I think there's like the Web3 native like drops that we're very familiar with doing, and we know how to reach them and all that stuff. And then I think there's like indie creators that are coming in from Web2 that want to go into Web3. These are like, TikTok influencers, or just like people who traditionally are on YouTube and like, can make us traditionally like a lot of ad revenue from different types of content and are looking for different ways to monetize. Like, for example, I think people might not know, but like YouTube is significantly like prioritizing shorts over like long form content. And so a lot of the creators who are used to making long form content are like searching different ways of like, driving their ad revenue, driving like passive income for themselves. Right. And in the state of like just the general recession, like people are finding that those passive forms of income in Web2 are like no longer as dependable as they used to be. So I think there's a really captive opportunity to find